Thunder in the East. Still moving on with the game. We're just about to go into June 42, so can't remember when the last video covered up until, but it was around about the winter time. You get through the winter quite quickly because there are fewer weeks during the winter months, and the weeks that you do get, the weather's obviously worse, so there's a bit less to think about. But in summary, the sort of northern sector has been pretty quiet. The Russians concentrated in just not to lose Moscow initially, which they've managed to do with the support of their sort of labour battalions and construction units. They've got a pretty heavy fortified line around Moscow, and during the winter they've counterattacked and probably took back about 3 or 4 hexes. So a bit of breathing space for Moscow, so they can focus on pushing on there, or now they can maybe send some more resources to the north. Or the kind of counterpoint is the German threat in the south. The Germans managed to redeploy a panzer army to join one that was already down in the south, and I think that might be the Germans' last hope in this game. May was a particularly muddy turn or month, certainly more muddy than average, but actually, as I mentioned last time, from April 42, I'm just using the weather as rolled because it affects the size more equally. In fact, the Russians would have quite liked a bit of good weather around Moscow, and similarly the Germans would have liked better weather around Rostov and Stalino. So both sort of frustrated in equal measure, so that's okay. But really, unless the Germans make something happen with Case Blue, I mean, going into July it'll be a new season, so they can use their offensive card, and the Air Force is in good shape. They've been, during the mud turns, you can still do bombing raids, not as effective, but you can't use the ground support, but you can bomb the Russian airfields. So that's what they've been doing with some success. So a number of the Russian air units are suppressed. So they're hoping to get into the summer with quite a big advantage in the air still. Not quite what they had in 41, but will it be enough for them to break out? Because if they don't break out, then the Russians can concentrate on putting a lot of pressure around Moscow and in the north, and I'm not sure what's going to happen there. That's why I need to play the summer out. I think I'll know at the end of the summer really whether the game is worth continuing or not, because it may be that the Germans just haven't done quite enough early on, but we'll see. It's still interesting. I think the house rules work fine. I've had a few emails with Jay just to clarify a few things, but I'm still using sort of 90% of what came in the box, with a few changes, but nothing as a material change. As mentioned before, these are all things you can easily implement, which I think makes the game a better game. There's been nothing else that's really queried, or no kind of outstanding queries, should I say. I've been slowly adding a few comments or sort of one-liners to the house rule Word file, but it's been pretty stable. So I've been playing pretty much with that set of rules right from the start, so I think this is a fairly valid playtest. Let's have a look at the map. Right, so the first problem for the Germans is in the north. You'll see there was not really a serious push on Leningrad. Just didn't feel it had the resources at the time, and the Russians did manage to get an HQ from really fairly early on, which has just given them a few options just to try and keep the Germans honest. Probing attacks coming in. It's fairly well defended now. There's lots of entrenchments there which have been built through card play and the 1-3 when you get a turn. Not too sure how much the Russians can throw at that part of the front line at the moment. In Moscow they've just been pushing forward. This is Vyazma, just here, so there's still a few hexes away from Vyazma. The Germans still have substantial forces there, and they're all full strength, and they do have some replacement points in the bank, so it will take quite a bit of work to get through there, but the work has begun. And then you'll see there has been a bit of progress up towards Rostov. We're now adjacent to Rostov. So will the Case Blue offensive, we've got clear weather, first turn of June, which could have been overcast, but we got a break in the weather, so that could kickstart that particular offensive. Germans have also banked some offensives because they didn't do very much over the winter. They've got about 6 which they can make use of. Well, don't think they may try and counterattack down here possibly if there's any opportunities, but mainly it's going to be throwing stuff in a fairly historical fashion in the south. The air situation, you'll see there are a number of suppressed Russian air forces. One German fighter that managed to get itself aborted is also suppressed. That's a change to the rule. Any abort result on the air CRT results in a suppression, and that's whether you are hindered or not hindered. So there we are. I mean, that's all looking quite exciting. So I think summer 42 will be pivotal. We'll report back.